Thank you so much for coming and joining us here for a little meditation practice together. My name is Michelle. My name is Michelle Fein. I live in Hawaii and New York, and in the summers I travel doing things like this, sharing the teachings, and also holding practices for people around the world. I'll be going to Ireland. Good sense of there. Welcome. Hello. Okay. Yeah, so and I'm very dear friends with Taya and Prajwal and came to see the baby. And then Prajwal invited me to hold a little meditation session for everyone here. We can share some time together. And I know most of you practice Dharma, so we're in a temple. So I just want us to enjoy this meditation as practice. Yeah, sometimes I give teachings, meditation teachings to people who are brand new, and so it's different, when you talk to people just to maybe try meditation for the first time, or don't have any kind of idea about Buddhism or anything like that. So I have classes for those people too. And so in this situation, I think we can do a little more of a Buddhist meditation. So for any Buddhist practice to be complete, you need the three noble principles. And in our Sangha, which is the written Sangha, it's very easy. We call it good in the beginning, good in the middle, good at the end. Very easy to remember, right? It's simple. So those three noble principles are important to have a complete Buddhist practice. Dharma practice. And the very first one of them, good at the beginning, is our motivation. We do all of these practices for the benefit of all sentient beings. That's why we try to do these Dharma practices, so that with our abilities that we do through study and practice, that we can actually help others. We can share, and the compassion that arises for us, we can then share that to the others in the world, So this practice of our meditation practice is also going to have the three noble principles. And in the beginning, this motivation practice, we do a prayer that's of the four immeasurables, and I can say it for you. And I know it's this one. It's by the power and the truth of this practice, make all sentient beings enjoy happiness in the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering in the cause of suffering. May they never be separated from the great happiness, avoid suffering, and dwell in the great equanimity that is free from attachment and attachment. So now we've done it in the beginning. Our motivation is to help all sentient beings and all the benefits. Okay, so that's what brings us about to have our first section of the Noble Principles. And the second is the actual practice. And the actual practice of this meditation, we want to have our minds as free and open and present as possible. And that takes practice. That's what we call it, practice, right? Sometimes you sit on your cushion and you're like, that's just practice, and that's fine. That day is that day. Today is today. So whatever comes up for you, just be with it, let it be. It's all good. Okay? It's all good. And this is not going to be long, meditation, sitting like this, I'm going to do that today. Because in our tradition, the great masters have told us short sessions many times. And that's the best way to learn meditation. Short sessions many times. Instead of muscling out an hour, because I've made that decision. Work with yourselves, be skillful. We say skillful means. We use our skillful means to help us find what's conducive for our meditation. And I'm going to share some things with you today that's conducive for somebody, but maybe not somebody else. But maybe you'll remember it later on down the road when you get a little bored, you want to change it up a little bit. You say, oh, Michelle mentioned that. Let me try that. And maybe it'll spark something in the future for you. It may not work right now. But everybody's different. It's your mind. And you know your mind. So you need to decide what's going to help you work with yourself. And I can share some techniques and things like that, make it easier for you. And give them a try. Our meditation practice is a little different than a lot of people's meditation practices. For one thing, we meditate with our eyes open, and that may be different for some people. People that have done TM, they're not used to that. So we'll talk about the posture coming up. That's one of the things that you may find, oh, different. I don't know if you meditate with your eyes open here. So that's a little different. Also our posture and things like that. This is all going to come from Dzogchen Influence, who was a great master in Tibet many centuries ago. We practice what's called Dzogchen Influence. For example, the posture we're going to do today is called the posture of comfort and ease, and that's from Dzogchen. That's how we do it. So the first part of the posture. Oh wait, somebody else is coming. Let's let them hear the whole thing too. Because we kind of go from here. Try to sit up straight first. That's the first part. Your spine is straight. If you're sitting in a chair, if you can put your feet flat on the ground, that may help. You might need a cushion or control or hello, welcome. Yeah, so posture. Okay, so we're going to do the posture of comfort and ease that comes to us from Dzogchen. And the main thing about this posture is to keep your spine straight and everything else relaxed. The belly, your abdomen really relaxed and loose like a blue belly. So you think of your spine straight, like lifting up. There's a kind of mobility and dignity to the posture. Your shoulders back, but not tight, everything loose, right? But shoulders gently back. That expands your chest so your breathing is more open. Yeah. And as I said, belly really relaxed. You can place your hands just gently on your thighs, or if you're comfortable to hold them like this, depends just on your body type, what's better for you. Okay, so now as I said, the eyes are open. So we do that for a couple of reasons. Very high Dzogchen practices, you definitely need your eyes open, but basically, harder to fall asleep. If your eyes are open, much harder to just conk out. Okay, and then also, when your eyes are open, your wisdom channels are actually connected from your eyes to your heart. And we work with calming the karmic winds, bringing the wisdom winds. So that's another reason. And we'll get to that with the breath as well. Okay, so nice and straight. Now, if your mind's really busy today, all over the place, kind of jumping around, you might want to have your eyes gazing down, nose at a 45-degree angle, and just you can pick a spot on the floor or in space, doesn't matter. Or if you're feeling really sleepy, you can try raising your eyes up a bit. Okay, and that helps you not be so drowsy. So those are two simple things that you can try. Because those are the two things that harm our meditation the most, is drowsiness and excitability. Okay, so those things we want to have middle way. And so those are cases that you can use right now. See what works for you. You can just breathe right down in, down in. You feel you're sleepy, just breathe it up just slightly. And you want to have your chin tucked a little bit. This is also about the air being able to flow freely in your body. Okay, so tongue tucked a little bit. Try to relax that belly. Wherever you find tension, kind of maybe do a body scan for yourself. If there's any tension, like let's say in the hip joints, jaw, you can move it around. Feel free, you stretch it out and feel. If you want to shake it out, you can do anything, it's fine. Just connect to your body and it's fine. There's relaxation. Posture of comfort and ease. And the next thing we're going to do is just gently be aware of your breath as it comes in and out of your body. And we breathe through our mouths. And as I mentioned before, there's a few reasons for this. We want to calm the winds that are disturbing, disruptive winds. And the great masters say that if you breathe through your mouth, it actually helps to calm those discursive winds and thoughts, because the mind rides on the breath. So if your mind is riding on your breath, that means that we do have something right at our fingertips, just to slow us right down. We can actually just slow our breath in and out the mouth, very gently. Just be aware of the hairs coming in and out over your lips. And now to slightly open, as if you're about to say out. You need to say out. Thank you. Focus a little more on the breath. This is a very universal meditation technique, is using the breath. But just become mindfully, gently aware of your breathing. Using that your body, you don't have to change anything. You're just placing your awareness on your breath. Just gently move to the mouth to your mouth. And drop your attention from your breath, just resting a little bit. Just sitting with the breath, and now just focus off the breath. Not focusing on anything, just resting your mind. Very accomplished meditators in this room here. Thank you. Okay, great. So sometimes when people meditate, they notice that their minds get quite active. A lot of thoughts come. That's perfectly normal. Just let them come and let them go. If you think of your mind as like the sun, right? The rays are naturally going to come from the sun. Those are the thoughts. The mind is like the sun, thoughts. You can think of it like the ocean. Thoughts are like the waves. They come from the ocean. If you just rest, they go right back to the ocean. So the thoughts are really not a problem. The problem is when we have a lot of discursive thoughts that end up making a story in our minds. The thought itself, like sound, like the water out there, hits sound as a thought, right? Don't even have to label it. It's thought, sound. It's just a beat. Problem is, if I say to myself, I once had a fountain like that. What is that fountain that I had? Oh my goodness, I remember that house. Ooh, oh right, what happened at that house? Okay, so that's a story. That's when you get into a little bit of trouble. That's when our minds get all over the place, and all of a sudden we go, wait a minute, I was supposed to be focusing on my breath. Right? A story took us away, not just a thought. It's more than one thought. It's the afterthought and the thought after that kind of string together in a chain. Sometimes Kenzie calls it like a line of ants, one after the other, the thoughts like that. Or you can call them monkey mind, Nritya Rinpoche calls them. Or his father, Dzogchen Rinpoche, calls it the chain of delusion. Those are all those thoughts and stories that just keep going, 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 right? So when we meditate, we can actually, there's a circle. We kind of go in a circle with those thoughts. When we meditate, we cut it. So then there's a beginning and an end. The circle will just keep going. But if you cut that, there's a beginning and an end. Okay? So that's all we're doing, is we're just trying to quiet our minds enough to work with ourselves, let the thoughts come and go, like the waves on the ocean. Don't bother us. You know, we sit like a mountain. Bothers you. Just let them come and go. You know, they will. If you just let the thought just easily come and go, it will drop. And then you can just in your awareness. Okay? Non-thought is, it happens, you know, but we call that like an experience. It's not about non-thought or bliss either. Those are just experiences. Okay? The main thing is just to be present in the nowness, in the natural as it is, you know, not adding anything special. There's no like, you know, trumpets blowing and rainbows flying. It's actually about just being your authentic self. And that's not so easy. Sometimes we have a lot of things that we put on to ourselves that make us, you know, think of who we are as a persona kind of. But that stuff, mostly, it's like things that we cobble together of our personality. But when we let everything go, that's our authentic self. Just being, you know. We're called human beings, but mostly we're human doing, right? We're doing, and we have very little time just to come back to ourselves. So meditation is really just bringing your mind home. Just bring it home. And when you're practicing and you get distracted, perfectly normal. The minute you found out you were distracted, that's just then you know. Come back to whatever it is that you're practicing. Gently, don't say, oh, I did it again, I'm distracted. No, it's normal. And the more we kind of work with it and work with ourselves, it's very pleasant. You know, sometimes people look at meditation like if they're paying a tax, you know? It's not about paying. It's not like paying a tax, you know, I'm going to do my practice, you know? It's really enjoyable. You know, when you get to just rest, this exhausted mind, you know? Deep and helpless, like calm and negative emotions, stress, and natural great peace, and supporting emotional energy. Because we just want to rest our own mind, feel ourselves equipped. Okay? And the breath is one way to do it. You know, that's a very, very popular way. But let's try another way. Let's choose an object. Now, you guys are looking at this beautiful shrine. You can pick an object that's very common in Buddhism, to the Tongva or a statue is the focus of your meditation. So just choose something here in the temple and choose one thing, okay? Don't switch around. Choose one thing to focus your meditation practice on, an image, okay? That represents the body. So we're going to represent the body by focusing our attention on the image of one of the holy beings. You can also use a flower or a candle, it's very popular, but since we're here, we might as well use those images, yeah? So just choose an image, gaze gently at it, just rest your gaze gently. And back to yourself. In the mind of energy, gaze on the image. If you get distracted, like I said, totally normal. That's actually a good part. You remember. You turned your mind when you realized you were distracted. That's called vigilance. This practice that we're sharing today in Tibetan is called Shine, probably not more popularly as shamatha. This is shamatha with support. The support we're using right now is the image that you've chosen. And my teacher actually had a formula for this. In English, it's called calm, abiding, or peacefully remaining. And the remaining part is mostly it. So the formula says 50% is just going to be remaining peace. 25% is your mindfulness. Okay, my mindfulness is saying, my focus right now, attention, awareness is on the image. Then your vigilance will come in when you go, oh, I got distracted, back to mindfulness. Okay, that's the formula. But most of it is just peacefully. So let's give it a try. Your posture, you can be breathing gently through the mouth. Slowly. Not to relax your eyes again. Confident. You can still see the image. Taking a lot of focus at the end, and you can keep the meditation coming. Just resting your mind without focusing on anything. Very good. Very good. Very good. That's nice. So that's your image. And as I said, you can use a holy image as we have here, or a candle, a flower, even a stone. People use a simple stone, just something to focus your mind. You keep coming back and you realize you've drifted off. Meditation, the great masters say in the beginning, it's like a waterfall. The thoughts are rushing by like a waterfall. And after you practice for a little while, it's like a river, going, moving, but still nicely, not so fast. And eventually it becomes like a plastic ocean. There's. In the beginning, the thoughts completely normal, and most of us are beginners, because if we look at our own minds, we know the truth, okay? So I don't have to tell you, I know my mind, and I know how it goes all over the place. So it's totally normal. It takes practice, right? And if you're not completely, and you don't want to zone out either. The thing about these practices are that if we're practicing with our eyes open, we can integrate it into our daily life, and nobody knows what we're doing. It's completely our own thing. if I turn my mind within and I'm practicing, and I'm still with others, I'm talking now. No? So you can do this. You can integrate this practice throughout your daily life. And that's the point, actually. We're supposed to remain, throughout our day. Of course, not so easy. That's why it's, very great masters that can do that 24/7, day and night. Okay, so we're practicing. So when we work with our minds, you have to kind of be a little gentle with the mind, work with it so it's working with you. We're using the mind to overcome the mind. Okay? Because most of us think of our mind as our thoughts and emotions, right? What I think, what I care about, my opinion, that's my mind. But that's only the appearance of mind. That's our projections of mind. That's what we call persona or ego, lots of names for it. But we have another part ourselves. That's the actual nature of our mind. That's with us always, has always been with us. Okay? It's not our conception mind. It's beyond that. And as we progress with meditation, more and more we can rest in the pure, pristine nature of our pure awareness, which is the nature of our mind. And we've heard it called many things. Buddha nature, it's Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness, many names. But we have to know that this is within us right now. Actually, we're all Buddhas. Right now. Right now, we're all Buddhas. You can say Buddhas to be, if it makes you feel more comfortable. We actually are all Buddhas. We just have these temporary obscurations. We call them adventitious stains because they're not organic, they're not ornate. Okay? And once we remove those stains, our natural Buddha nature is able to just shine forth because it's always been there. It's always with us. Every sentient being has this Mahavihara. Okay? The Buddha nature. My teacher used to say, your Buddha nature is as good as any Buddha's Buddha nature. Okay? Your Buddha nature is as good as any Buddha's Buddha nature. Well, that should give us a little confidence about Buddha nature. We all have it. So meditation just helps us to quiet down those discursive thoughts, that chain of delusion I talked about, one thought after the other, story. I like that, I don't like that, I don't care about that, those three things, right? Those stories we make into very deep, complicated stories about ourselves. Well, when I was 7, this happened, and that's why I'm like this now. Stories. When I was 7 doesn't exist anymore. I mean, if you look at your baby pictures and stuff, is that you? Not really. You look at your body now, you say, well, baby picture. So impermanence, change, also major part of Buddhist philosophy. Impermanence. If you can actually realize impermanence, very close to realizing impermanence. Okay. Also, if you realize impermanence, the kindness, we can actually find kindness and compassion for others because we know that we're impermanent, they're impermanent. We only get to see them at this maybe one rare, miraculous point in time. How can we be of service? How can we be kind? We can always be kind. Sometimes it's not so easy. But the more we practice and get in touch with our authentic self, our Buddha nature, it becomes second nature to be kind. It is our nature to be kind. The other stuff is temporary. All of the negative emotions and all these things, it's not really you. And once you understand that, it gives you confidence and also a deep level of compassion for others. They have Buddha nature. They just, are of spirit temporarily. Okay, so the care, compassion for all beings as Buddhas, that's called pure perception. It's good. We can aspire to do that. But in the meantime, these practices help us very much just to come back to ourselves. Nothing added, nothing exciting, nothing bells and whistles. This is just our true nature. It's always with you. Okay? It's always here. We just have to kind of turn within a little bit, quiet our minds, and rest. That's the 50%. Remaining. Remaining is the ground. Okay, remaining. Let's try it again. And this time, let's try using sound. And all we're going to do, and we're not going to chant a mantra, that would be more traditionally used sound. But we're going to use the ambient sound that we can hear around us. Whatever it is you can hear, just let the sound come in. And you don't have to say waterfall, car, airplane, air conditioning. No. Just sound. Sound. And then you can drop the label of sound. You don't have to say sound, just hearing, simply hearing. I'm hearing. There's no labels, there's no judgment, there's no, you haven't put it into a pocket, like I like that sound, I don't like that sound. It's just hearing. Okay, so let's give that a try just for a few minutes. Okay. Posture. You can just rest your eyes wherever you'd like now, because we're focusing on sound. So if you want to use an image, perfectly fine. Anything you'd like, just rest your eyes and keep them open. And breathing gently through the mouth, very slowly. Spine straight, breathing as you're inhaling up the spine. Begin to adjust. Nothing outside of you, so begin to move. And then focus on turn our attention outward to good. Begin the edges down. And just meditation objects now, but keep meditation. Anything else? Thank you, very good. So is that a little different for some people, using sound as the focus of the meditation? Have you ever done that before? Anybody use sound before? You have? Good. So things like sound are really good. Like, let's say you're in public, right? And you want to bring your mind at home, and there's a lot going on. You can just turn your mind towards the sounds. Yes. You'll find you'll come back to yourself. So like I said, these practices are really good because you can be on the bus, Nobody knows what you're doing. You can be in a restaurant. You can be anywhere. It's up to you to work with your mind. It's up to you to bring your mind back home, as opposed to all over, anxiety, stress, or whatever we do. You know how often it is and easy it is to just go right into it. So these are little techniques that you can use during your day. Keep bringing your mind home. Keep bringing your mind home. And you'll find that if you can do that, if you can remember during the day to kind of bring yourself back, you're going to find a very stable sense of being after a while. You're going to find that you're really quite unshakable. You're stable. When things come up, things go wrong, as they do in life, you may have a little more space before you react. It's about being spacious, right? Spacious and gracious. So you can have space. You don't immediately respond, or judge. We're so quick to judge. I like that. I don't like that. Or neutral. Those are the three things that we do. So you can just be and experience without judging things. You're just actually living your life. You're experiencing your life without all these other thoughts and judgments and stuff. Everything becomes a little bit brighter. Everything becomes a little more beautiful because you're not compartmentalizing everything into this, that. I've done that before. I knew I didn't like it before, so I'm not going to like it again. You know how we do? Which is very useful. I mean, sometimes it's very useful, these things that we've learned in life to prevent accidents, etc. But sometimes we do them and they're not really useful. Okay? So just to keep that in mind, and keep bringing yourself back just to yourself. Bring your mind home. Like I said, short sessions many times. And when you get the hang of that, you do it throughout the day, short sessions many times. And then it starts to run together. So everything becomes a meditation, like a dance. From Prajwal and dance. It is a dance of life. And if you can dance with life on life's terms, we always want to change it because I didn't like that. I want it different. That's when we get upset. We want it our way. I want it my way. Sometimes we can't have our way. We experience what it actually is, and we're able to enjoy that moment just as it is. Sometimes it's not pleasant, but it has something for us. It's in our experience, so it has something for us. Okay, so now I'm going to give you something very useful to do. And this can be also, you can share this with others that are having a hard time, especially hard time. Or if, let's say you're having a medical procedure, we're going to the dentist and you're a little nervous, right? A lot of us have that, right? So this is something that we can all do in those situations. And it's also using the breath. And maybe many of you know this already, but it's counting the breath. And what you can also do is use your heartbeat. If you're connected to your heartbeat, you can feel for it. Or if you're quiet enough, you'll just hear your heartbeat. So it would be inhale for 7 heartbeats, hold for 3. Exhale for 7 heartbeats, hold without it. Okay? Now, if you can't hear your heartbeat today because of other sounds, that's okay. In general, you'll kind of remember to feel your pulse. Now, this can really ground you. Let's say somebody needs to do an MRI or something that they're really quite nervous about going into the machine. You can share this with them and say, hey, you can try this breathing thing. It might take your mind off your troubles. It's all about mind, right? How we perceive things. So this will give the mind something to do in these situations. Of course, you can use it anytime. Okay, so let's try that. Just bring yourself down. You can kind of bring your mind in. You can also move your gaze closer to yourself when you want to bring yourself home with it. You can bring your gaze closer in. Try that. That can also bring your mind home. Let's just focus on the breath. If you can feel, if you want to feel your pulse, feel for it, you can. Or if you quiet your mind, you can hear your heartbeat. So you're going to inhale slowly with the mouth 7. Hold for 3. Exhale for 7. Hold for 3 without any. It's pretty simple, right? It's pretty simple technique. It may come in handy for yourself one day or for somebody else who might be nervous in a situation. Because you notice when we're in situations where, if you've ever been around somebody, there you go. And all of a sudden we're all nervous, right? You take that short intake of breath, right? And short intake. We also relate to that. We know that feeling, that high level of anxiety or stress. So of course the opposite is when we relax. We can't control our breath, right? Can't control our heartbeats as much unless you're James Bond, but then you can control your breath. You can consciously say, okay, in my breath down, so automatically you're going to be more relaxed. Okay? You can also, like I said, you can bring your eyes in, you can also focus your breath in. If you're really out there, you mind you way out there, besides, placing your eyes in, you can also imagine that your breath is in. And then if you'd like to, you can expand your breath out. So sometimes when you're sitting, you want to expand your consciousness. Just try that. Try to see how far your eyes and your ears. Breath. Spacious. Expansive. Out breath and move out. So I've given you a few things. I don't know if maybe you knew all of them before, but maybe there are a few little things that you can use in meditation now, because you all seem to have a very good practice. But like I said, sometimes these things, you don't want to get your practice stale. Sometimes we're doing the same thing. Like I said, something's like paying tax, I'm sitting, I'm going to push. So to liven it up, try some new things. Okay, let me try this breath thing. Let me try, other things that we talked about. Posture. I don't know, do you guys normally meditate with your eyes open? No? No? Both. Yeah. So thank you very much for trying. If it's not the normal way you usually meditate, I really appreciate that you're open-minded and trying things. It's really wonderful. Thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions about anything we did, feel free to ask me. If anything wasn't clear or if anything.
We talked a lot about breathing. We talked about breathing through the mouth
Yes.
versus through the nose. What's the?
Oh, okay. So I did explain a little in the beginning, so I'll go through. I can tell you again. That's okay. There's different reasons for that. Okay. One of the main reasons is that we want to calm the dispersive thoughts and the thoughts that we call them the karmic ones in the body. We have a subtle body, physical body, then the subtle body. And the wind energy, that can get disturbed. Especially with Western people, we have a tendency to kind of be out there, So by breathing through the mouth, you're actually helping the wisdom winds come to the central channel, as opposed to through the nostrils. You're going to be helping those dispersive karmic winds get active. That's what I'm bringing and hopefully the wisdom wind, because the mind rides on the wind. Have you ever heard that before? Yeah. So it's like the horse and the rider, crippled rider, blind horse, riding on the wind when you're conceptual mind. Okay, so those are the reasons that we do that. And you can try it out for yourself. See how it feels, breathing through your nose. You can try it out for yourself. I also said that in the beginning, that these teachings that I'm sharing with you have been passed down to the great masters. But we all have our own minds, and you know your mind better than I will ever. So you try things and what works for you. You try them, okay? And see what works for you. You shift it up, play with yourself, play around. So, because that's, in meditation, that's just something, most things keep that belly relaxed. If our belly is relaxed, we're not gonna look so, like modelly, We're just gonna look like ourselves. And when you're sitting, your belly kind of protrudes, and that's good. You just let it all relax. 'Cause I personally hold a lot of my abdomen, so I, my hips, some people hold it like in the upper chest and things like this. Whatever it is for you, we're all different. But the good thing is to just try to reach that and just feel it jello inside your spine. And breath and your body, they go together, your mind rises with the breath, so all connected. The subtle body especially. Good question, thank you. Anybody else? Feel free to shout. Perfectly fine, there are no silly questions at all.
Well, Michelle, I
Yeah.
was wondering if you could speak a little bit more about the lineage from which this comes.
Oh, right, okay, so, my main teacher, Rinpoche, he passed away a few years ago. And, he was a great master of the Dzogchen lineage. And so all of our, when we share from the Reiki Sangha, even a simple meditation like we're doing today, it's always has a little bit of a flavor from our teacher, who was a great Dzogchen master. When he would give a teaching, he would give the introduction measure of mind in a public talk every time. He was so generous. So, it's like a tuning fork. If you were with him and you would vibrate. So anyway, my teacher's first teacher was John Mackenzie Choki Lodro in Tibet. He was born in Tibet. And then Dzogchen Rinpoche, which is the different Tersar lineage. Dzogchen Rinpoche also is the Kensei lineage. John Mackenzie Lodro, great. And Noshul Ken was also a great teacher, my teacher, a very high Dzogchen master. He wrote a book called The Marvelous Value of Rare Gems about the Dzogchen lineage. So it's an unbroken golden chain passed from master to student. And, it's very precious. And these times, the Kali Yuga times, were said that these teachings would be shared more widely. They used to only be shared like one master would teach to one student. But things have changed, so these teachings are necessary for all. So you should, this is the Dzogchen lineage. We practice a lot of practices of long-term lockdown. Who in Tibet was a great master who kind of gathered all the special Dzogchen teachings into this 47 treasuries. He also created after him, Jigme Lenka also gave us these teachings of launch and minted, which is our preliminary practices and practices. And he wasn't that long ago, 1700s. So we say the one breath of the dictions is still on these teachings, very pure. Okay, we've gone over the time. I'm so sorry. Okay, well, thank you so much. And so before we get up, remember there were the 3 noble principles. So we need good at the end. And that means we dedicate this practice again to the enlightenment of all sentient beings. So through this enough, may all beings attain the mission state of enlightenment and conquer the enemy of faults and delusions. May they all be liberated from this ocean of samsara, and from this common way. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any questions on that?
Yeah. You guys have any questions online, people?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Anya, Carol's, Gil's also here. Yeah, Anastasia's and Crystal's. Yeah. Anya Davis. Thank you. Sure. Mhm. Okay. Nobody say anything, so no questions. Beautiful teaching, thank you. That's all. Anya Devi from California. Mhm. Good to see Anya. Good to see Carol, Stacy, and Crystal. Great to see you, everybody. Good. Okay. So, okay. That's good.